MMPH 005, Organizational Development and Change. Within this course code, we'll cover the block three forms of organizational change, two units, that is process-based change and group-based approaches to change. So let's understand what is the process-based change. Organizational transformational process is very integrated process which involves the people, the workforce from all levels of management. The top-down approach is the leadership when the leaders, the strategic management initiates and communicates the vision and goals. Active participations of middle and operational level is very critical for this success. The operational team involvement ensures the effective achievement of objectives. The contemporary organizations rely most on cross-functional teams. They rely on the innovations and global functioning. It requires a strong process for direction and support. So when we talk about the transformation cannot be done from one aspect, from one level. It happened to be, among all the levels of a management. That is top management, middle and operational management. Top management, which provides the strategies, the vision, and set the groundwork. Or the framework is designed by the top management, and the execution level is done when the middle and operational level management deploys the resources and implement actions and drive execution. So top management is mainly known for the strategic management, and the middle and operational levels are known for as execution levels. When they both combine and integrate together, that creates the appropriate structure, defines roles, fostering the performance-oriented culture within an organization during the transformation process. But why there is need for business process improvement, that also termed as BPI. There are different drivers of business process improvement. First is globalization. Globalization happens when a lot of companies, the organizations, merge in terms of acquisition, or they comes to the domestic market to expand their businesses. Then it is required. Then the change is required for the entire process. Whenever there is increase in competition in terms of products or systems or processes, demand of customers and shareholders. When the demand is more than the supply, more organizations comes into the industry, and then there is requirement for changes. Growing role of stakeholders and need for performance culture. The main purpose is to stay competitive, efficient, and ensure organization survival in Yuga, which is in a volatile market. Uncertainties are there. It is complex and ambiguous. Environment is there. Then this environment creates and leads to the improvement that requires the improvement for the survival, which is leads to the transformational change. There are certain models of BPI. First is CPI model. CPI model is continuous process improvement. Second is breakthrough re-engineering model, and third one is process-based change methods. Let's understand in detail about all these models. First is continuous process improvement model, CPI model. CPI model is gradual. CPI model, the key nature of this is that it is incremental improvement. The improvements happen to be in a process, in a gradual mode, not all of a sudden. The approach towards this model is work on small areas, start work on small areas. Ongoing changes in existing process has to be there. One of the example is adoption of new and improved technology along with the existing processes, along with the business processes. The benefit for CPI model is it builds up the employee's capabilities. Helps the organization to adapt faster and prepares them for major change later, because here the change happened to be gradually, not all of a sudden. The steps in CPI is first is as in where condition. As in where condition is document current process. First, see the current process which is going on, which is the existing process. Second is measures. Measures refers to defines the customer client focused performance measures. Implementation is executing changes. When the changes leads to the execution, and evaluation leads to the collection of data and identifying improvement opportunities. When we evaluate, when we analyze the data, then only the organization under this model can be able to identify what are improvement areas, what are the opportunities which leads to the process. The repeat is continuous cycle of improvement. Continuous cycle of improvement is when it is gradually, when it is within the ongoing process. Whenever small changes are required, it is repetition is there. The cycle or the improvising cycle moves in a repetition, continuous. Second is breakthrough re-engineering model. Breakthrough re-engineering model is radical. It is path breaking and relates with a large scale change. Here the main reason is when competition has increased, there is a technological shift, and there is market disruptions where the demand is faster, and or maybe because of any dramatic transformation, maybe because of the economy or because of the competition or because of any reasons. Here, the main focus is the main approach leads towards an innovative redesign of processes rather than incremental tweaks. So, steps in re-engineering is defining the scope and objectives of the project. Then is to gather the insights from the sales stakeholders, the customers, the employees, the people who are working in an organization, technology trends, and competitors as well. So after doing all this in-depth analysis about after defining the objectives and scope, the new process is formulated, which is based on learning, which is after the in-depth study of that particular process as well. The transition phase happens to be identifying gaps from current state and desired objective. Where the organization is on today, for example, the organization is on one specific, profitable state, and where they wanted to be in within the financial year down the line 5 years of span or 3 years of span, or maybe which technology they are using and which technology they can be able to re-engineer, or maybe technology shift can be happen for the further productive enhance the productivity of an organization. So there that finding out that gap where the organization is on the current state and where they wanted to reach, what is their goal and what is their vision towards. That is the transition phase. And finally, is the implementation of the re-engineered solutions. The solution which is in a learned manner, which is strategic move from for breakthrough results. So when we compare re-engineering model with CPI is incremental, slow, and evolutionary, whereas re-engineering is comparatively fast. It is revolutionary, and there is a radical change that happens to be in an organization. Third is process-based change methods. Process-based change method is the organization uses many approaches to re-engineer and manage resources. There can be BPR, which is business process re-engineering. Business process re-engineering is a radical redesign of process and breakthrough performance. Along with that, there is TQM, that is total quality management, where the continuous improvement with a focus on quality, customer satisfaction, and employee involvement is there. Outsourcing is another methodology where the delegation of non-core activities to external vendors for efficiency and cost effectiveness. Downsizing refers to restructuring and reducing the workforce or operations to improve the efficiency and cut cost. So these are the four major process-based methods which help the organization to re-engineer and manage their processes. There are three facts about the change. It is said that change is everywhere. It affects all. It affects the industries, it affects the functions, it affects the people who are working in, it affects the roles, the jobs. Whereas we also say change is constant. It is not one time activity, but an ongoing reality. Whenever there is a technological changes, whenever there is a social changes, whenever there is an economic changes, there the need for the change is required. There is a rapid developments which are going on in technology and social reforms. So whenever there are some development, there is the changes required in an organization according to the competition, or maybe because of the economy, or maybe because of the survival, or because of sometimes just to increase the or enhance the productivity, or to scale up the businesses. The pace of change is increasing. Organizations and individuals, they face rapid transformation. So these are the three facts about the change, that it is everywhere, it affects everyone in overall. Whenever there is a change within an organization, it not only affects the strategic strategy or the rules or vision or mission of an organization, it also affects the people who are working with. It also affects with the financial and functional conditions of an organization. Whereas on the other hand, when we say it is not one-time activity, whenever there is a development, the organization tends to change. Whenever there is a competition rise, then there is a whenever there is a new innovations and new design on the products and all, the you know is there is a need for change. So it is, but it is an change is not constant. It is not a one time activity, but it is an ongoing process, ongoing reality. So when we say change need to be managed. Change need to integrate that adaptability into the organization culture. It provides a systematic methodology using knowledge, tools, and resources. Change ensures the organization to align their processes with their strategic goals. Change allows a planned and proactive process rather than the reactive one. So whenever there is a technological advancements or rapid changes in the technology, there is change integrates adaptability into the organization, old cultures and old reforms. It not only help to align the strategic goals or the vision of an organization, but also with a planned and proactive process. So overall, it is a systematic methodology. Overall, it is when applied in a in a systematic manner with a scientific rules and resources. So it is very significant. It is very important to manage that particular change or the transformation happening in the organization. Business processes. A process is when we say process is specific ordering of work activity across time and space. It has a beginning, an end, output, and output. Whenever we see a process, there is always a beginning. Then there is an input. If it is beginning, there has to be some end. Then we have to put in something, the inputs. There has to be some output out of that, whether it is aligned or not, but there are outputs. When we define the process, it is a structured framework of action. But when we say, when we relate this process with a business, it combinedly work as a group of logical related tasks. It uses the organizational resources effectively, and it aims, the main objective is customer oriented results which align with the organizational objectives, because the business can be able to efficiently work, or maybe whenever we see that business is aligned with a strategy, or when we say the business process is systematically designed, it means the organizational objectives are aligned with the customer oriented results. So whatever is input, the organization is getting the final outputs are the best of the profitable or efficient driven through the processes. So, and we also say that business processes which are aligned, the resources are managed very effectively and they are very systematic. This is how we see the business processes. So the processes is which is also mentioned by Edward Deming, that 85% of the reasons for failure is to meet customer expectations are related to deficiencies in system and processes, not employees. So generally, it is seen that uh, whenever there is some issues or some inefficiency occurs in an organization, the workforce is blamed for that. But the insight is the problem lies in the system. The problem lies in the process design. So, and on the other hand, Henry Ford also, focus on don't find a fault, find a remedy. The focus should not be on the solutions and process improvements, nor focus should be on solutions and process improvement rather than on blaming the individuals, rather than blaming the employees. The organization should focus on the remedial actions or the process improvements and the solutions after finding or identifying the problems. There is organization experience change in different levels, at different intensity, at different risk and returns. So the main type of the spectrum is first is automation. Automation happens when the risk is also low and the restore is also low. The risk and the return are also low and risk is also low. When there is low risk and low return, it is an incremental efficiency gain. So the benefits happens to be to enhance the quality, efficiency and effectiveness, because whenever there is low risk, there is low return. And here it means that computerization of processes speed up in existing tasks. So here we need a change, need a type where the automation is required. Then second change or the second spectrum is rationalization of procedures. Rationalization of procedures happen to be when there is medium risk and medium returns, where the procedures may become outdated. They don't work, they do not fit it into the organization over time due to policy changes. Policy changes can be because of the internal system or because of the external environment. So, benefit of this is to simplify the process or improve the workflow and efficiency and support the automation, which is by streamlining the SOP, standard operating procedures, by removing the bottlenecks. So here, when we remove the bottlenecks, we focus on the SOPs and reformulating the SOPs. It not only simplifies the process but also increases the workflows, which relates to the efficiency. It directly relates and affects the efficiency. The next spectrum of change in organization happen to be when it is required for BPR. BPR is business process reengineering. It happens, it is required when there is high risk and high returns. Whenever we say there is high risk, there is high return, with a major structural and cultural change required. There is a radical redesign of the business processes. whenever there is radical redesigning is required, and whenever we do the redesigning in a business operations, it not only cuts the repetitive or bureaucratic or the paper intensive task, it also reduces the cost. It enhances the product and service quality, because there the re-engineering and the restructuring is has been taken place, and there is redesigning of the entire system for the entire business process. So this change, this redesigning happens to be after identifying the, the how to streamline maybe the organization, or maybe how to restructure the SOPs also, or how to automate or scale up the business, or automation is required at that level. Then there is paradigm shift. Paradigm shift is most radical change and question the very nature, the high nature of business in the organization, where the risk is very high and it leads to very high returns as well. It can not only transfer but also disrupt the organization entirely, which relates directly to the strategic positioning, which not only include the strategic positioning of an organization but also opens up the new business model. This is a radical change in whenever an organization want to expand or scale up immediately, or maybe during the acquisition or mergers, or maybe because of when the for example, an organization or a business got immediate funding where it helps them to scale up to a double their business, or maybe to start another business uh, parallelly along with the existing ones. So these are the few spectrum of change where it relates with the returns and with the risk factors. If it is low, the returns are also low. If it is said that it is medium, the returns are medium. If it is high, if the risk is high, then the returns are also high. But if it is very high, the returns with that, the, along with the high risk, if it is works well, if it is the positioning is well, or maybe the change happened to be in with a proper process, or done in a strategic manner, the returns are also very high. So now, before moving further on these models and changes, let's understand the process of change. Why it is required? Why the process is required? Technology is the major reason, which is no longer as only as a automation tool, but it is a strategic tool. Strategic tool refers to the CRMs, e-businesses, or knowledge management. The new technologies, with a rapid increase in the technology, there are a lot of changes in the skills, the work habits, and even the organization structures. This is the major reason for the process of change, where it impacts the advancement. IT strategies has to align with the business strategy. Unless IT or the technology is not aligned, then the things may not work properly, the process will not work properly. The business needs to translate into the technology environment, so the technology requirements. The shared databases for customer service management, knowledge management system for converting individual knowledge into organizational knowledge. So the individual knowledge, or the individual knowledge system, uh, the KMS convert that individual knowledge into the organizational knowledge, which is used for the organizational growth and sustainability. Telecommuting growth that estimated 20% annually. So it is implied that technological changes drive continuous evaluation of HR practices, and making the organizations more adaptive towards the changes, towards the tools which are available in the industry, or the processes which are available in the industry, which leads to the process for change. Now let's understand the first model, that is business process reengineering, that is BPR. It is a management approach that focused on radically redesigning on an organization's core business processes to achieve the significant improvements in key performance measures such as cost, quality, service, and speed. The BPRs examine mainly the five components. First is strategy, then is process, technology, organization, and culture. Because when we are saying the business process reengineering, we are restructuring, we are redesigning the entire business the processes. Uh, so moving from conventional or traditional organization to the modern organization, it impacts not only the strategic movement, but also impacts the process, the technology, the change in organization hierarchy or the structure is required. Will be a change in the organization culture. So these are the five components which examine where the changes are required, where the changes can be done as per the business. Because restructuring or redesigning of strategy will not work well. We need to change the process. We need to change along with the technology, the organizational hierarchy or the organization structure or organograms, as well as redesigning the job roles as well, and restructuring the organization culture along with the processes. So the BPR is when the organization must have why do we do and what we do. First is what is the existing culture, what is the existing strategy, what is the uh, you know about the processes, about the workforce. Then only it can be able to happen, because the current state need we have that work sometimes as a groundwork for the restructuring of that ground work. So reinvention, there is a radical changes. Reinvention, not incremental improvement. It is dramatic. It applied in time of crisis. Whenever there is crisis or when major breakthroughs are required. For example, a company's organization is going in losses and some other company acquires them or merge with them. So that is a very dramatic stage. There they need to do immediate. They have to execute the immediate action on the structure, the processes. Whosoever acquired that loss-making organization, they re-engineered or they wanted to merge that or acquire, uh, implement their own policies and strategies within an organization. So process, it is process oriented. The firm built around processes, procurement, production, marketing, and distribution. Now, why organization re-engineer? Organization re-engineer maybe because of the customers, competition, technology, or performance. Customers, when they are more demanding, they are expecting speed, accuracy, and informed service. There, re-engineering is required. Whenever the competition is local and global, there the re-engineering is required. Whenever there is a rapid advancements and changing in customer preferences, their engineering is required. And whenever there is a performance in quality, whenever there is a cost requirement of cost reduction and fastest delivery, there are these are the few reasons. For example, in today's environment, we need a food within 10 minutes or 15 minutes at our you know at our doorstep. So here the demand of the customer or the demand of the people are expecting speed. Along with that, we need the accurate order, or maybe there should not be any flaw in that. The accuracy is required there. That also helps to engineer, or maybe the faster delivery. And of course, it relates with the technology because it is we can just put a order online and we get the order at our doorstep within 10 or 15 minutes. So there is a technology which is aligned with that, and there is rapid advancement was there. That is why that organization is on the that meeting not only the customer demand but also drive towards through the technology. Now, this BPR concept is very interesting. It is not downsizing, it is not restructuring or just that redesigning or reorganizing the structure or automating the system, but it is more of value creation. It is more of value creation for customer with technology as an enabler. As most of the organizations, as I given an example of the fastest delivery through technology, through an apps, with accurate information, and that is a value creation. We created the value within the systems, within the processes. That here, one of the very interesting definition is given by Hammer and Champy. It is a fundamental thinking and radical redesign of business processes to bring about dramatic improvement in performance. We have seen that, on the other hand, for an organization who is delivering maybe a day or two after ordering the groceries and the food, groceries and all. Now they are coming to the 15 minutes delivery or 10 minutes delivery. It is in another wing, another section where they are working on a speedy delivery, faster delivery with accuracy, which creates the value creation for the in the process, in the business, for the customers to get the grocery on time whenever they require that. So this is all about for the BPR. But there are many challenges and resistance also to BPR. That is competency. That is the organizations and employee may prefer to stay there. There can be political resistance. There can be internal power struggles and fear of loss of control. Fear of unknown. Employee resist drastic change. Sometimes employees are not ready. Why this change is happening? Whether my job is secure or not, or whether I'll get my salaries on time or not, whether we will get the praises or not. So this fear remains with them whenever this drastic change happens to be within an organization. So poor past experience. Many BPR projects failed in 1990s due to poor design and execution. New change model. Organizations sometimes opt for less radical change or alternative. So there also, it creates to be more complicated model, or it creates to be a lot of resistance. So this is one of the very major challenge with the organization change from there, see from their end. The business process flowchart happens to be there are a few symbols, which is flowchart symbols are given in this figure. The rectangular box with an activity, there is a specific, whenever we make the flowchart, there are specific symbols which define itself is where the quadrangle is a symbol of decision. Then there is a rectangle which is known to be as blue. The fifth one, a predefined process, or whenever we see this one, a predefined process, whenever there is a start, we use the oval shape with written a start on that, or maybe the end to end the process. There is another symbols which shows the off page or maybe the file data. This last one is known to be as this symbol itself signifies these this rectangle with curved shape, curves, this sharpened edges as an defined as an activity, whereas with the curved and soft edges is integration relationship, the relation to another module were identified and described. So there are few, these are the business processes flow chart, which which gives and symbolically one can create these flowcharts whenever there is a re-engineering process going on. This diagonal shape is, I'm sorry, the diamond shape is of decision, and this decision may go through yes or no, or maybe two options. Then another parallel flow chart may begin with another processes, uh, flowchart symbols. So these are a few of the symbols which are mentioned here, and that is also mentioned in your in the book. Now, how we can implement the BPM strategies? There are three C's of reengineering, that is customer, competition, and change. And there are three C's of effective teams, that those are known to be as enablers. The re-engineering are known to be as a driver, so it means we can say there are three C's which are drivers and three C's which are enablers. Three C's of re-engineering as a driver is customer, competition and change, where the customers demand more, aware, expect high quality service. Wherever there is a competition, global pressures are there, or the change leads to the fast-paced environment. And the enablers are committed. There are the four committed both team and management, cooperation among the teams. Communication has to be there, has to be no ambiguous roles and responsibility, has to be clear, and work towards the progress, and the contribution of individual and collective effort determine the success. So drivers and enablers combinedly implement the BPM strategy based on three C's and four C's of effective team. Now there are a few key steps in BPR implementation. First, select the process and appoint the team. There it is very important who are be the team members, who are the people who will involved in this process. So identifying that is very core process, that is very important process. After forming the process team, the training is required to BPR employees, or the you can say the champions or the owners or the executives. The consultants may assist, but control must remain internal. Second step is understanding the current process. Current understanding is all about understanding the mission, the scope, the boundaries, cost, time, data, customer needs, inefficiencies, identifying improvement opportunity. Then develop and communicate vision. After knowing and after knowing the current state, developing a desired goal or common vision is very important. The future vision should be shared with the employees. It provides a transparent progress update and reinforce a new behavior and show personal benefit for employees. Then is identifying action plan. Identifying action plan remove the bureaucratic hurdles and non-value added activities. It develops the metrics, targets, and feedback systems. Continuous audit and monitoring is required. Execute and plan. Execute and plan leads to implementation, review, and refine. Benchmark against best practices. Train process owners and teams for advanced execution. So during the execution, not only it relates with only the implementation, but also time to time review and refining is equally important. And there the benchmark of best practices should be defined. There are certain factors which influence whether BPR is advisable or not. Few of the factors such as BPM is history for the company. These questions should be asked before planning for the BPR. Should the organization go for incremental or radical changes? Is BPR essential for remaining competitive? Are there conflicts in adapting this approach? Are communication channels clear and structured? Are progress in urgent need of redesign? Is the culture conducive to change or not? How to avoid BPR failure? Because it happens to be if the most of the organization fail because the processes are not you know implemented properly, or the redesigning the business process redesign refining is not clear. So align the BPR strategies with strategic planning and IT as a competitive. Place the customer at the center of re-engineering. Foster ownership across the organization, not just in consulting. It has to be within and internal. It has to be, encourage the ownership with the internal team. Build cross-level teams, that is with managers and frontline staff. Integrate IT from the starting point, because IT group is one who can not only help in brain engineering, but it plays a very important role at every step. Whenever there is an automation, whenever there is a engineering, or aligning the data with our policies or the rules and regulations, or maybe aligning the CRM software or anything, IT group has to be integrated from the start. Ensure top executives support the consistent leadership. They should not be, they should be stick to whatever decision they take. Set clear time frame. Every goal has some time frame. Then only we can be able to say that this is the to we can be able to reach within the time frame. Respect organization culture and emphasize communication and feedback. Then is total quality management. Total quality management is another technique, another method which was originated in 1950, but it became popular in 1980s. It is the main focus is on customer first quality decision making. So here the main idea is do things right for the first time, every time, and eliminate waste and defects. So it is more focused on the quality processes. It is more focused on every time the quality has to be maintained. There are two elements of PQM. First is soft elements, and second one is hard elements. Soft elements relates with the behavior and managerial aspects. That is leaderships, employee involvement, training and development, learning culture, strategic quality management, or customer focus. Whereas the hard elements refers to the technical or the structural elements. That is zero defect mentality or statistical processes, advanced manufacturing systems, and all. Soft elements dominates more because here it highlights more the importance of attitude over the tools, because having the tool sometimes is not enough. There has to be attitude, or there has to be trained people or learned people to apply those tools and methodologies in a correct manner. Significance of TQM is it is cost effective for ensuring quality. The continuous improvement ensures business excellence. It is not only a quality check, it is total quality management, which refers to the continuous improvement in the quality, or continuous improvement and check on the quality. It enhances the job satisfaction through collaboration. Customer centric approach is there with feedback. Barriers of TQM is there is no clear definition of quality. There can be lack of strategic plan or customer focus. There can be communication gap between the departments or within the employees that also hampers the quality management overall. Weak employee empowerment or trust in management also may become a barrier in TQM. Short-term focus and organizational politics also leads to work, maybe a barrier for growth, because there the strategies and the rules and the regulations, the policies, or the quality norms, the quality checks, if it is not bypassing or overlapping the thing, then it will create it may treat it as a barrier. Perception that TQM is a quick fix. TQM is not a quick fix. If it is created as a quick fix, then it is a barrier. Otherwise, it is a continuous strategic plan which leads to the regular improvements, regular empowerment of not only the employees but also the organization on the whole. There are certain recognitions and awards which is relates with TQM. Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award is given to the organization who follows the TQM rules and regulations, or maybe best in TQMs is given by USA. Deming Prize is given in Japan. European Quality Award is in Europe. We have in India, we have in the international standard that is ISO 9000 certification, where the main theme is customer focus, measurable outcomes, holistic approach, and visible changes within an organization. Third methodology is downsizing. Downsizing is temporary or permanent removal of employees from the payroll. Its main aim is to reduce the cost, but often poorly executed. Whenever we downsize, there is a loss of maybe a loss of the potential candidates. It involves a critical decision of who to lay off, how many to lay off, which notice period should be applied, compensation, and rehabilitation. The reason for downsizing is one is business environment changes. If there is any business environment changes like mergers or competitions or mergers or acquisitions. Second can be globalization and competition. Third can be technology and automation. For example, the technologies are adapted by the traditional organization where there are 100 employees and now it is required only suppose 80 employees. So 20 employees has to be laid off because that is after the automation and technology insertion or the technology enhancement or the updates within an organization that those 20 people are not required to stay in an organization. Then is performance pressure. Those who are not performing well or those who are not contributing to the organization growth, that also leads to the downsizing, or maybe when the organizations are not downsizing happens to be when the organizations are not performing well or the organization are in loss making, then also downsizing happens. The challenges and risks happen to be often done reactively with urgency and ignoring the early warning signs. Legal department focus on avoiding litigation instead of employee monitoring. It leads to angry ex-employees or demotivated survivors. There is because those who are with the organizations always have the fear or mistrust or low morale whenever they are working. A blame culture within the organization is seen, and negative organizational climate instead of revival. There is Japanese approach to downsizing where it is rooted in lifetime employment philosophy. More human, it is more human than systematic. It is gradual and multi-stage process. What happens in this? They reduce the overtime, they reduce the working days or maybe the job rotations. Employment freeze, temporary leaves, non-renewal of part-time contracts. The transfers to the suppliers and subsidiaries. So this is known as koyojoshi. Whereas Joseki Shuko is known to be as whenever there is temporary transfer, maybe for 2 months or 5 months, once it is said that company will revive, then they will again rejoin. So here they are still employed, they are still on the payroll of the company. Then there is another concept that is Isiki Shuko, that is permanent transfers. Permanent transfer is like early separation schemes, that they are permanently separated. The features of this approach is employee consultation. It is done with the employees' consultation. The open communication is there. Retraining and rehabilitation is, given to them. After, whenever there is rehabilitation or support is there for the employees, it minimizes the impact, it sustains the moral, and it protects the jobs as much as possible within employees. Outsourcing is another methodology where the delegation of non-core activities to external specialists. Ownership of processes shift to suppliers not just by buying, but also it is seen in most of the manufacturing companies or maybe the service industries, the telecom industries. It is seen that they delegate their non-core activities to the external organizations or external small firms. It involves coordination, trust, and information exchanges there. It's seen that better quality because they are experts in their own specialized areas, the specialized firms are there, and it leads to lower cost. It reduces the infrastructure to create the infrastructure on that particular. For example, a company is working in a the pharma organization. They have their own plants, they have their own manufacturing facilities, but for one particular medicine or one particular product, they outsource that manufacturing facilities to that specific or the specialized manufacturing firms. So that definitely lower the cost, or maybe there is no infrastructure is required for that particular medicine or that particular product. So there is no overburden on the parent company as well. So technological innovation strategies like automation in Ford's assembly line. It's seen that the lower cost for better quality leads to the higher results. It gives to the greater consumption and due creation in other sectors. So they can divert their funds or their specialization or the people towards creating the different job creation in other sectors. Now, how we can manage the change? How we can do it from a process perspective? To manage the change, downsizing or outsourcing effectively, organization must do it either on individual level or on organization level. Employees should embrace situations, recognize barriers, and adapt strategies. Whereas organization level, they should clarify the mission, vision, and reasons for change. They should define the roles and responsibilities and structure. Then they determine the strategies, they establish the support mechanism, and implement the monitor and review the progress. This is how the organization level can change the manage the change. Now, teams play a very important role in handling the complexity and rapid change. The cross-functional teams improve information flow and process change. They enable the learning and knowledge sharing. They ensure the in-process quality. Change management is basically a continuous renewal of direction, structure, and people. Now, there are group-based approaches which is helped by the providing feedback, creating awareness, building positive attitude, and these interventions are needed at individual, team, and organization levels. There are different group approaches to change, which are one is sensitivity training, which is also known as T group training and encounter groups, where there is an unstructured group interaction for the behavior change. Here, the main focus is on the self-awareness, understanding behavior, feedback, and group process tolerance. The trainer facilitates participants learn by observing and interacting with each other. The benefits is improve self-perception, group solidarity, and reduce the conflicts. Second is when there is formal group diagnostic meeting. The group critiques itself to identify strength and problem. They do the SWOT analysis of their own groups. The leaders and consultants decide need for the meeting. The main purpose is to find out the problem. Problem identification is the main focused part, and the idea generation for the future action. So here the formal group sits together, they work on the diagnose. Then then next approach is team building activities where the attribute is more on high performance team. The participative leadership or shared responsibility, they align the purpose, high communication or the open communication is their future focus, their task focus, their creative talent utilization, and rapid responses seen in this approach. Team development, when we say team development, has four stages. First is forming, where they are aware about the people, they come together. Then second is conflict resolution and clarity, where they clear the conflicts, they resolve, they find out the resolution. Third is cooperation and trust, which is when they start working together, when they they work, they align together on the trust part. And finally is the change implementation and performance review. So forming, storming is one second stage, which involves the conflict resolution and sharing. Then there is performing, where they are cooperation and trust, and finally adjourning, where there the change implementation happen and they are back to their, after the performance review, they are back to their own respective teams. So the type of teams are also the four types. There are simple task teams, for example, the quality circles. They can be complex team, which involve the top and mid managers, which is more of a strategy orientation. Third team is cross-functional or the fluid membership teams. And fourth is strategic or shamrock teams for complex issue. Whenever there is a complex issue, the strategic team comes, take a forefront and work on the change approaches. Then there are special teams, which are quality circles, who solve, those who are known for solving work and quality problems. They are the quality circle members are the experts in their own area. So they not only identify the problem but also give the solution of that problem and enhance the work life. Cross-functional team are also from the specialists from different areas of innovations. Self-management team, that is the SMT teams. SMT teams are autonomous teams, planning, scheduling, higher productivity, motivation is the major focus areas of that. Then there are team building techniques like case studies, role analysis, RAT, role analysis technique, role negotiations, interdependency exercises, appreciative inquiry, responsibility charting, and visioning. Whenever we follow all these techniques, we work on these techniques in a way to improvise so all the team members has to be aligned with these goals along with these techniques. There is process consultation, where the consultant helps the organization to diagnose and solve its own problem. Like the interventions can be agenda settings or feedback or coaching or structural suggestions. Then there are balanced scorecard, that is also known as BSC or open based system group approach. It was developed by Kaplan and Norton, where the four perspectives are their: financial, customer, internal process, and learning. All these four perspective is has to be balanced during the change process or maybe after implementation of the change process. The next is interactive strategic planning, which was given by also known as Dare Miller approach, where it is happened to be in the larger group where 100 or 2,000 people are there, or it is a 2 to 3 day event. The formula is it relates with dissatisfaction, vision, first steps, and then because dissatisfaction into vision and first steps leads to resistance to change. Whether there is dissatisfaction, vision, then only it leads to the it may results to resistance in change. It emphasizes more on results, prioritization, and action planning. Then there is Future Search Conferences. It is approximately 2 to 3 days of event, and approximate 50 to 60 participants are there, which is documented as 64 participants, where they're reviewing the past or exploring the present trends, creating the future scenarios, identifying the shared vision, and making the action plans. Then Axelrod's conference model is 3-day conference which focused on vision, customer, technology, and design based on social, technological, and re-engineering principles. It is more inclined towards the radical redesign and implementation. Then there is open space approach, which is given by Harrison Hogan. It is an idea marketplace, and it is based on chaos theory, where 20 to 100 people sit together and work on the new ideas. Self-organized discussions are there, open agendas are there, networking is there, creativity and responsibility for self-learning is more focused approach. So this is a tabulated form which we just discussed on all these approaches with their method and the outcome focus. All the approaches we have just discussed, which is you know given in the tabular format. So overall, we have seen the radical change, major transformation, disruptive in nature, breakthrough improvement is significant performance gains, innovative methods, business process, BPR is radical redesigning, TQM is continuous quality improvement, downsizing, outsourcing are downsizing is reducing workforce, outsourcing is delegating non-core activities. Challenge is yes, there are challenges because we need to select the right method and implement effectively. Planned change and organizational development needs systematic interventions. It has to be carefully planned and implemented. Contemporary context emphasize team involvement and project-based structures. Multiple interventions, techniques, and strategies used for change. So thank you so much. That's all for today. Namaste.